Hey, my name is Eugene and I build and rank websites.
Nah, I done grew around some people living their life in bottles. Granddaddy had the golden flask, back door every day in Chicago. Some people like the...
In this video, I wanted to share real strategies that we've been using for our clients for the last 5-6 years. They're also the strategies that I've been toying with for the last 10 years more. I've been building and still till this day build my own websites. You can call them fake websites, but I look for niches: plumbers, tradies, beauty salons, cardiologists, medical practices. So these are my personal websites that I've built, I've ranked, I've overtaken people, I rent them out, I flip them. So this is an absolute game to me. It's a hobby to me. It's an obsession to me. You know, some people come home and play Call of Duty and all sorts of games. I sit here and I study how Google makes decisions, how Google ranks websites, why one website goes up over another. So let's come back to this video. We're going to be talking about local business strategies. So you're a business that would like to get inquiries from your local suburb. It might be a plumber or a dentist, Melbourne, dentist, Brighton. It might be an accountant. I'm going to be talking about broad campaigns. So I will be touching on things like IT. I will be touching on things like schools, tutoring companies. So it all falls under the same strategy of a local campaign. So what can a local business do to get more inquiries, to get more traffic, to get more business within that area? I'm not going to be talking about online shops. I will be talking about things like ranking on Google Maps and diving a bit deeper into that, ranking on Google Organic, which is your general listing, running a Google ad, running a Facebook ad, and just commenting in what space one might work better than another. I do have dedicated videos that talk about how Google makes decisions. I do have dedicated videos on Facebook and Google Ads. This is not that video. This is me sharing real campaigns on, where can we get these visitors? How do we get these visitors? What kind of strategies do we need to implement? How long till these strategies begin to take effect and you potentially get a return on investment? I talk about the cost of entry to market. Like if we want to buy a house in Brighton, well, that's how much it costs to buy a house in Brighton. Same with marketing, and I'm gonna just set some expectations on realistic returns and how long it takes to get results, and I'll dive into the cogs of the actual strategy itself. I'm gonna share my screen and let's dive in. See you soon. All right, I am back. Let's dive in. Let me just make my big head a little bit smaller. We're gonna start with I love Miro. I like to mind map everything, and I mean everything. So we are talking about local business campaigns, and we're talking about the kind of strategies that I implement pretty much for all of my local campaigns. Okay, so we're talking, a funeral home, a security company, whether it's security guards or security systems. These are all clients that we have actively, that we're working with month by month. We're working on their Google ads, on their Facebook ads. We're working on making them rank higher in Google. We're making them rank higher in local suburbs. So the only thing that differs between all of these campaigns is how competitive their space is, how much money is being sent to a Google ad versus a Facebook ad. Some campaigns we don't even run Facebook ads, and some campaigns we do not run Google ads. But all of these campaigns, we follow a very, very similar process. This process evolves every single month. We get better. I have mentors all around the world. I also have hundreds of my own websites that I am progressing through the ranks just out of obsession for what I do, but also to study how Google makes decisions. So when Google adjusts and changes their algorithm, that literally is happening right now every 2 days, they're changing the way they judge websites. I have my websites, my own personal properties in place to make adjustments and see what my clients need to implement on their websites. A lot of different spaces here, and I will be eventually doing niche specific. So how does a dentist campaign look, and how does a builder campaign look? In this world, in the strategies that I'm going to be sharing, we're looking for growth and traffic from when somebody types in, a dentist plus city, dentist Melbourne, dentist plus Brighton, a suburb, and then the big one is near me. Every single one of these keyword variations gets traffic, gets people looking for things. How do you Google things? You Google, chicken shop near me. So without overloading too much on the type of clients, I mean, I put this together in a couple of minutes. There are more. We found ourselves really, really good at the medical space, so a dental campaign, and really, really good at the trade space. So the tradies, the roofers, the home builders. It's just so happened to work out that way. So all of these campaigns, we have a lot of data on. When I say data, here is one of many Google ad accounts that we have. Where in the last 30 days, we've spent $85,000. That's during COVID. Last 30 days, $85,000 has been given to Google, which we're running campaigns for several clients, of course, many clients. This is one of our ad accounts. So this is what we call a manager account, where we have lots of accounts under. Some clients give us access to their accounts, so the numbers are only up from that. That figure is very similar on Facebook ads. It just varies month by month. So that gives us a lot of data on how Google Ads behaves and how to get the most out of a Google ad, as well as SEO and Facebook ads. So I'm going to dive into some really, really basic way to start. We want more business. We want more inquiries. We want more phone calls. We want more people walking into our shop, visiting our online shop. Essentially, the phone to ring. Now, it's really important that every business understands their figures when it comes to average client, like how much revenue will an average client bring. So if I bring 10 clients to your business, whether you're an arborist, whether you're an accountant, what is the average amount of revenue? What is the average amount of profit that you will receive from those 10 new leads? Okay, then you sort of need to look at how long will that client hang around for. In the accounting space, in every niche, it's different. For a beauty salon, 70% hang around for 5-6 years. Every business will have their numbers. Know your numbers. That way you understand, wow, okay, if I bring in one client, it means this much revenue, it means over this much time. Then you begin to understand, how much am I capable of spending per month on acquiring new business, whether it be what I'm doing, whether it be something else, whether it be influencer marketing, whatever works. You just need to have what's called a marketing spend that you're on a monthly basis putting in a direction to acquire new business. And a lot of the time, the expectations on this marketing spend need to be set correctly. For example, if you are a local business, if you're any business that gets clients from people Googling things from online, then these days there has to be a monthly amount of money that goes into growing your online asset. That might be your social channels. It might be your Facebook, your Instagram. There are things that you must be doing to grow your online asset, almost like a building on that taller building every single month, because the months that you're not doing this are the months that competitors are, and you're going to have to start at some stage if this is a pond that you would like to fish in, if you'd like to get these customers. I like to look at this as the property game, right? the longer you wait, the more expensive the houses are, but then maybe the more you'll save, the more comfortable you'll be, the more ready you will be. But it's the same as this. Brands are growing, competitors are growing, websites are only getting stronger. So it doesn't mean don't do it. It just means that your perception of SEO, SEM, Google ads, and Facebook ads needs to be set correctly. If I'd like to buy a house in Brighton, I know that it costs 5-6 mil, whatever. That's just the cost of entry in that space. A lot of the time, this marketing spend, if you want results instantly, sure, we can get results pretty quickly with a Google or a Facebook ad, but a lot of the time this needs to be looked at as a long-term investment. I mean, how soon do you break even on a property, investment property? I don't know my numbers, but I'm assuming with all the taxes, it's about 7 or 8 years with all the in the current scene. So that's how you should be looking at your marketing spend and the expectation on the return. Now, where can we get this attention? Once again, I'm simply covering the strategies that I know definitely work. They're live on all of our campaigns, and maybe if you book me in for a meeting or a call, I'll share the numbers and I'll share the actual campaigns that we're running. So the first place is Google Maps. So when you type in, I'll do it right now, chicken shop near me, right? When you type in something that has a local intent, so chicken shop near me, this is Google Maps. This is called the 3-pack of Google Maps. This is local SEO, local rankings, right? So that's the first place where we can get visitors and traffic. The second place is Google Organic. This is simply, if I come back to this example, if I scroll down, this is Google Organic. Don't worry if my stuff looks a bit weird. I've got a lot of SEO extensions and plugins used, so it shows the full URL for me. So this is Google Organic. This is Google Maps, or the 3-pack, or local. Okay, and also if you click into the map, this is what's called local SEO. So doing something to your asset, your website most of the time, your Google listing, to send geo signals to Google that you are the best answer for this query, whether it's chicken shop near me. And then here we go, we can see an ad, a Google ad, because that's the next thing that I'm about to show you. Is another way to get traffic is with Google ads. Now the reason I've divided these into two areas is when you're talking about SEO, this is SEO. It's search engine optimization. It's optimizing your asset, your website, your social profiles for Google, for Bing, for Yahoo to consider you and hopefully rank you higher. So it's doing something. So I like to call this an ownership strategy, meaning it's like you buy a house or you rent a house. This is buying that house, but it takes a while to get results. It takes a while to get a return on investment. It takes a while to pay that house off. Whereas Google ads and Facebook ads is a rental strategy where the moment you start paying rent, you can live in that house. The moment you turn on a Google ad is the moment, that day, that week, you will start to receive visitors. So Google ads is what I call reactive marketing. Somebody's looking for a builder, somebody's looking for a dentist, somebody's looking for an emergency dentist. We can pay for that visitor, whatever it might be per click. I'll cover costs later on. Then you have Facebook, very, very different form of the rental strategy. This is SEM. This is PPC, pay per a click. In other words, Facebook is intrusive marketing. When you run an ad on Facebook, they're not looking for what you're possibly selling. So with Facebook, you're heavily at the disposal of their categories. By that, I mean Facebook has a lot of data on everyone. They know how old you are. They know your sex. They know if you've had a child. They know if you're getting married, because these are all the things that you feed Facebook. You take photos of your ring. You change your status to relationship status engaged. You flag who your parents are. You flag when your birthday is. So for things like schools, private schools, tutors, kindergartens, childcare, or the baby space, because there's a category on Facebook where it's parent with 1-year-old, parent with 2-year-old, you can advertise to that and sell your baby products, or sell that private school that that has a huge waiting list, for example. Now, if you're running a local builder campaign, now that's different. How much does it cost to build a house? Would you turn a Facebook ad over a Google ad? You decide. I would put my money on Google ads over a Facebook ad. Now, in some campaigns, we do both. I'll dive a bit more. So this is like, where can we get attention from? Google Maps, Google Organic, Google Ads, Facebook ads. How? So what is it that we need to do? What is it that you need to, what kind of service do you need to pay for to get traffic from Google Maps? Well, it's called local SEO. So local search engine optimization means sending Google geo-relevant signals. So on your website, having geo-relevant content where you're talking about the local suburbs, having geo pages, Brighton Builder, Elwood Builder, St Kilda Builder. So they're called geo pages, and I'll explain that a bit further down. And then if you want to rank in Google Organic, it's organic SEO. These are actually different things. The algorithm, the way Google decides which website appears on Maps and which website appears in Organic is actually different. They're two separate algorithms. They do blend over in many cases, however. So if you want to rank local, you have to be doing both of these things, because if you're not doing something right here, chances are you're not going to rank there. And if you don't do something right on the local side, you're not going to rank in the organic side, or you might be on page 2 or 3. I know this sounds confusing, but it's like these are completely separate companies in Google, and sometimes they catch up for coffee and sometimes they overlap. There's different strategies in play here. Some of our clients, I don't want to get off topic, they're national clients. So they don't have that point on the map that, near Bondi Beach in Sydney, that's where they want their customers. They just want to be, in fact, international. They want clients from America. Very, very different form of SEO. With Google and Facebook ads, what do we need? We need a landing page, right? If we're going to pay for that click for an emergency dentist, we better take them to a page about emergency dental. It's almost to a granular level. If we're looking after a tradie or a builder or a tiler, right? And if we're going, hey, Mr. Google, we're going to pay for the term dual occupancy builder, right? Take them to a page that's all about dual lock. Don't show them your homepage, which is about tiling services and roofing, because you're lessening your chances of converting this client. I'm not saying you're not going to get that visitor. You might. It's just you'll take the cost per conversion is going to be much higher than if that page was dedicated to that topic. So regrouting, tiling, home painting, dental, surgery, boob jobs, any keyword, take them to a page that's only about that. This is where I see 90% of ads fall off. Whether it's run by another agency, just lack of care, whether it's set up by someone trying to figure their way through it, they just turn on a Google ad, they send the traffic to the homepage, and not only does the homepage isn't specific to that keyword, but the homepage, when Google judges it, the algorithm's like, this is not relevant. So a big must in 2021 to have a dedicated landing page. A lot of companies are running Google ads. So if you don't do this, you're not ticking off those boxes, you're going to be at the bottom of the ads. You're going to have a really bad time. Google will have a really good time with your credit card, and you'll have a bad experience. Then you'll say Google ads don't work. Every new client that we've taken on, almost every client has tried Google Ads, has said, no, we're not paying for Google Ads. We're not doing Google Ads. Well, guess what? The first thing I do, we want to turn it on. We're turning on a Google ad. And they're like, oh my God, your SEO is working. And I'm like, it's the Google ad. Oh, shit. So same with Facebook ads. If you are going to sell the baby products, if you're going to sell anything, just take them to a page that's just about that. I mean, it might be your homepage if you're just selling that one product. What's also really, really good about having a dedicated page is when that traffic visits that dedicated page, because it's hidden away from your website, you can see the behavior of that visitor, and you can track a conversion much easier than if someone actually you just don't know if this person has come from social, if it's come from organic, you just won't know. So having a dedicated page for this means you can segment, bucket, work on it, mold it, sculpt it ever further. I might actually share one of my personal websites and what a good landing page and a home page and a general website should look in terms of ticking the boxes. So if I zoom out again, these are the 4 strategies that almost all of my campaigns go through. Now, cost of entry. This is the big one that no one talks about. It's can you build me a website? Yes, I can. Can you turn on a Google ad? Yes, I can. The big elephant in the room, well, right, what's the cost of entry to market? If I want to buy that house in Brighton, how much am I going to pay? How long is it going to take me to pay it off? A big part of local SEO and organic SEO and doing what I do is deconstructing the competitors. Okay, who are we to think that our 6-month-old website, our new startup business we've registered this website, all of a sudden just going to overtake and acquire the traffic that Google has been sending to all of the mature websites, whether it be in your suburb or your city? Like, who are we to think that we could just switch something on magically and take visitors that are visiting the plumber down the road, who's had his website, who's had this sorted for years? So it's very important that every campaign, while we're working on the same strategy, every campaign is 100% different and unique. And it always comes down to the competitor asset. Right, we can forget about ranking for Builder Melbourne. We just can, because you've got like Metricon. Just type in those keywords and you'll see who ranks, and you can quickly have a look how big is their website. It's like, I could be the best SEO in the world. You can throw 30 grand a month at me and I'll still be like, nope, not touching that keyword. Same with things like injury lawyers. So the same goes no matter who you are, in what space you are. Let's say a dental campaign in Bentley, we calculate how many other dentists are actively working on their websites. So what kind of assets they have. So how old their websites are, how mature are those websites are, how old are their Google listings, looking at their assets in terms of how many Google reviews they have, what's their social profile like. All of these assets are all come together. It's not just have a website and appear. All of these things are required to then have a chance to convert the customer. So what am I talking about here? Once again, cost of entry. So in other words, if we want to penetrate this space, what is required? So then we look at the competitor asset in terms of on-page elements on their website. On-page elements are things you can visually see, things you can click. So how many pages do they have? How many blogs do they have? What's the quality of those blogs? Are they 500 words, which is a strategy that has not worked for many years? Or are they guide-like, just the blog of all blogs, 3,000 words, 5,000 words? It's not about the text. It's about how well you answer the question, the query. Quality of the above as part of Google's terms, because we sort of, I've been doing this for a while. I know what Google looks for. How much activity and cost is going into their website monthly. This is big, okay? Because if your competitors, we're working on that tower, right? Where every month we wanna build a taller building than your competitors. So your competitors have got a 50-story building. We're starting at level 3. Sure, we can speed up and build more pages, build more stories, but they're actively working on every single month. They might put up, I'm talking about blogs here because it's the easiest thing that I can explain. They're uploading, let's say, 10 blogs a month. Each blog is 3,000 words. With every blog comes a YouTube video. They're basically growing on their asset. Social media is going up, and so how fast is that car traveling? And so that gives us an understanding of, if we want to overtake them, we have to match them. We have to beat them. Otherwise, we can forget about this keyword. It's like me saying we can forget about Builder Melbourne, but we definitely have a chance to rank for Builder Brighton, Builder St Kilda. In other words, it's a smaller pond with less fish, but less competitive. So big fish, small pond is how I start all of my campaigns before we earn the respect, the trust of Google to consider ranking for some higher level keywords. Another thing that we look at is off-page elements. I keep just dragging things. Off-page elements is things you cannot see on the website. These are backlinks from other websites. These are mentions from other websites. If you're a personal trainer and other personal trainers or other fitness bodies, fitness websites around Australia are mentioning you, that is called a backlink. The more backlinks you have, the more relevant backlinks you have, the stronger your off-page game. See it as backlinks are streets in a town, highways to a town. The more highways, the wider the roads, the more cars can get to that town. So in the sense that Google, the more lanes that you have, the more Google will come visit your website and consider your website more important. Okay, backlinks are super important. And so this is what we deconstruct. If your competitor's got 50 very powerful backlinks, they come at a huge cost. Some could be impossible. How do you get a backlink from, let's say, like if you're an accountant and you get a backlink from Accountants Daily or the ATO? Could be impossible, or there's ways, right? It generally costs a lot of negotiating, a lot of relationship building. So they're the three elements that we look at when we assess, right, if we want our dentist to rank in this suburb, if we want that cardiologist to rank in this suburb, who are we up against? How old is their asset? What is their on-page like? What is their off-page like? So these are the sort of, and once again, how much activity is going into the off-page. Like if we're seeing 5-6 backlinks going up a week, okay, we can match that, but that will generally come at a cost. Kind of like we want 3 rooms built every month. That comes at a cost of bricks and stairs and electricity and Egyptian snow shovels, all kind of stuff. So cost of entry, we're talking about cost of entry in SEO, in ranking organically. Cost of entry on running an ad is very, very different, okay? The first thing we look at is industry average standards. I literally made this thing up. I didn't know what other words to use, but we need to have a look at the other ads being run, okay? Sure, we're unique and we'll have our own branding and our own way of selling our product, but we must have a look at the brands that are currently running ads. So we deconstruct competitors that are running ads. We see how much they're spending, but more importantly, we deconstruct their landing pages. There are hundreds of landing pages on dual occupancy builders, on cardiologists, on dentists, and we need to deconstruct those pages. And a lot of the time, it comes down to this. On this page, how much trust signals is there? In other words, the first thing when you're looking for, let's say, for a luxury builder is, how long has this guy been around? How many builds have they done? I want to read some testimonials. Like luxuries are very high end. So I want to see proof of work. So you need to very quickly not only just use words on the page, but you have to have as many Google reviews as you can. Like if this builder's done 10 builds in Brighton, well, those builds better be on that screen. You better have fly-through videos and show a variety of work. I'll show this page. I didn't want to show it too early, but here's a good example. It does not have the social proof because this is a fake website of mine that I'm progressing through the ranks. It's a arborist website, right? And so, but here's an example: is Melbourne certified arborists with over 23 years of experience. Right, okay, they've been around for a while. Where are they? They're in Melbourne. Okay, I'm in Melbourne. This could be used as a landing page. This could be used as a Google ad, right? Trusted in Melbourne for over 23 years. We've completed over 20,000 mentioning the service job. So we're putting the keyword in the page. We do this, we do this. Now, down here, we would a little bit about the services. In the last 12 months, once again, how many jobs have we done? We've built 12,000 houses. We've cleared 50,000 tiles, broken tiles. We've regrouted them. You know, we do funny stuff like raccoon weird looks received. Like this is an arborist. We're having a bit of fun here as well. Now, logos of either clients, logos of like if you're just starting out, then put a list of, like, for example, if for a builder, yeah, sure, they had a few awards, but we just listed all of the big brand appliances that they use, like Miele, and then, you know, the gas appliances, or like the Bosch, and just bang, brand awareness, social sort of proof. People love brands. We also love to get Google reviews. Obviously, this is a website of mine, but real Google reviews being fed from Google. When you book me in for a Zoom call, I'll show you real clients, real campaigns, and you'll see the same similar strategy executed. So we're still talking about Google ads and Facebook ads. Is we look at the campaigns being run, because if a company's running that campaign, let's say more than 3 months, it means it's giving them a return, it means they're doing something. So let's take a look and get ideas from them. Then we look at the trust asset. Like if all of those 10 companies have at least 20 Google reviews and they're showing the proof of their work before and after, before teeth whitening, after teeth whitening, here's my houses that I've built, track record of jobs and services, social proof, like how mature is that Instagram account or Facebook account? In every space, people just want to click this and have a look and scroll down and say, wow, this guy's publishing high quality content. He's been doing it for 5 years. There's a trust signal. Maturity of the business, media asset capturing the above. Very important to capture. So many businesses do really, really good work. You're an incredible tiler. You're an incredible painter. You're an incredible singer, but you haven't captured it properly, or you've used your phone and you haven't upgraded your phone in a long time, and the photos are just rubbish, and it's not really portraying you. So all of this stuff, you don't have to have it. You can just turn on this ad, but what will happen is the budget will blow out before you finally get an inquiry. An inquiry you will get, because it becomes just a numbers game. But you'll be like, wow, I spent how much on this one inquiry, and he ended up being just a shit kicker, and you just get frustrated, and you lose trust in this, and you don't run it. And we've terminated clients because X amount of months down the track, no matter what I said early on, we didn't get the media, we didn't get the reviews, and we try to help everyone get Google reviews. And so there wasn't enough of an asset to sell. It's like, sure, I can get traffic to this website, I can turn on a Google ad, but if you're not going to prove to the audience that you genuinely can build luxury homes, and you have a track record of building these luxury homes, and enough social proof, you're not going to get the inquiries that you want. It's just going to cost a lot. The big one on this, what have I done? I did. Is industry cost per click. I'm not going to show cost per clicks here, but if we would like to run an ad for Injury Lawyer Melbourne, I think they're sitting at like $57 per click. Wedding venue Melbourne is sitting at like 5 or 6 right now. Tiling is sitting at 3 or 4. Every keyword has a cost to it based on how competitive it is in the space. So, you know, the same spend for a lawyer is very different for a same spend for like a plumber or a dentist. So yeah, that's another thing to consider, is that campaign differs. Now, next thing, ROI and time frame, the big question, the big elephant in the room. Now, I love to, I prefer to under promise and definitely over deliver. Now, do we want you to rank tomorrow? No, I want you to rank yesterday. I want you to just bang inquiries. That's like, we obsess over you getting the results as quickly as possible. But the reality of the situation is that who are we to think that our brand new website is all of a sudden going to get the traffic that some sites have been getting for years, right? Here's a builder that's come along. We've registered the Google listing. We've started to get genuine reviews. We've started to upload images to the Google listing. We're starting to work on our asset for a brand new website, for a brand new domain with no history, for a builder space, for an accountant space, for a financial advisor. I'm literally saying it's not even 6 to 7 months. It's about 12 months to start appearing. Forget about rank 1. Forget about page 1. I'm just being 100% real from the campaigns that I shared above. 12 months before you'll start appearing page 2, page 3 of Google. By 12 months, you absolutely will be getting traffic to the website. I am being so conservative here because I'm recording this in August. And just a year ago, that 12 months was 6 or 7 months that I was saying. Now, 6 or 7 months, I want to see your keywords begin to move up. I twitch when our keywords are not moving up. It depends on the space. If you're a financial advisor and you're in the CBD of Melbourne, I'm just going to run. I'm not interested. Not interested. No. Very dense. There's a lot of buildings. There's a lot of financial advisors. There's a lot of accountants. You might have one building and you might have 30 accounting practices gunning for that keyword, accountant Melbourne CBD. It's like with big pockets to spend on Google Ad, big pockets to spend on organic. Expected results depends how mature our website is. It depends how strong the competition is. It depends how competitive those keywords are, which is sort of the same thing. Now, a mature website, let's say I take over it or we rebuild a fresh one, your website is a couple of years old, I will be genuinely not happy with my own work if in 6 or 7 months I don't see a trend of keywords moving up. Not one of my campaigns has waited that long. All of our campaigns have shown a track record of certain things moving up, whether it's on maps, whether it's on the local listings, because we track everything. And without overloading you too much, we use a lot of different tools to report back to us and say, hey, we've got movement here, we've got movement there. 12 months for direct return on investment. That I'm not even sure I'm happy with. I would say a return on investment is, maybe beginning to return a financial result. So some of these spaces are quite competitive, like finance, for example, SMSFs. You got some big boys running those ads. Now, a time frame on a Google or a Facebook ad is very different. And this is why in these strategies that I'm sharing, we do a combination of these things. So while the SEO is taking a while to marinate and progress through the Google sandbox, Google doesn't trust anybody. That's why I call it the sandbox, especially for new websites. We turn on a Google ad. This is where results can come within a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. The moment we start paying for that visitor, we drive the traffic to the website. Now, once again, it depends on the campaign. Am I confident on tradie campaigns? Oh, shit, yes. Arborist, medical practices, cardiologist, yes. But if I'm to turn on a Google ad on a campaign that I have not run before, sure, I might be confident that it's a local space. I'm still going to say 3 to 4 weeks for a reaction. A reaction is we're stuck. My dog's snoring. How disrespectful. Stella. We're good. 3 to 4 weeks for a reaction, meaning we're starting to run those ads. We're starting to get visitors to the website. I really, really hope that we get an inquiry, definitely within a couple of days, but 3-4 weeks is that expectation on any ads that we've not had experience on. We're still talking about local here. 2 to 3 months for a calculated return on investment. So let's say we spend $1,000 a month with Google. In the first month, we're going to get some really big fluctuations. On the second month, as we sculpt the campaign, as we remove the keywords we don't want, it gets quite complex. If you've ever seen the Google Ads interface, it's not very forgiving. And don't take out a Google Ads Express. Your credit card will be swiped so hard. All of this requires ongoing weekly, monthly sculpting. So we're chiseling the landing page. We're chiseling the selection of keywords. For example, we don't want home building tips. We don't want to pay for that keyword. We want home builder, Melbourne. That's it. Nothing before, nothing after. I'm talking about the way the keyword can be laid out. So Roi and Time Frame on SEO, I'm saying 6 or 7 months for keywords to begin moving up. I'm saying 12 months for some sort of return on your spend. I'm not saying you're going to make your money back. I'm saying beginning to get attention, right? Which bring inquiries. On a Google ad, 3 to 4 weeks after the landing page goes up, must have a landing page. And 2 to 3 months for a calculated ROI. Now, in fact, I got an email yesterday. Anna, I'm talking to you. We had to turn on a Google ad. Too many inquiries. Olga as well. Too many inquiries. We had to drip it down. Happens a lot. It happens when the SEO begins to take off. When you begin to rank organically, you don't need to spend that money on Google ad. That's the goal. That you can decrease the spend unless your systems and processes are set up and you go hard on both. And that way, if you're set up to take on that business, you've got a what I call a tap, which is your Google ads. Just turn it on, turn it off, put more money into it, means you get more inquiries back. Now, all of this cannot work unless you have a website. And here's the big elephant in the room. The website condition plays a huge, huge role. In fact, we've stopped taking on certain campaigns where the website's just not up for scratch. We tried for years to take over other people's websites. It's kind of like you've come to me, you've asked me for a 10-story building. No, you've asked me for a 50-story building, but your house is made out of wood. Foundation made out of wood. It looks great. It's pretty aesthetic. I'm talking about your website here, but we need more pages on it. We need to be able to sculpt on it. I need to be able to climb on the roof and quickly add a couple of elements, add videos, add text, add blogs. So the website condition, this is so important. I've got a dedicated video on the difference between website design and SEO. So building a website that's designed to please the Google gods and just a website that looks good. Nothing against websites that look good. Design is so important. Look at my t-shirt. But if you want your website to progress through the Google algorithm, in other words, Google judges websites a certain way, and you optimize to please what they're looking for, you could still look pretty. But if your website is not up for scratch, there are two options. If it is up for scratch, one sec, I've got to lock this 1 second. It's just moving around everywhere. If it is, very rarely they are, but some are. Some are built well. We take over it. In other words, we begin to install the tools that we need for Google to begin like us. It's a tools takeover, and where we build a Google Ads or Facebook Ads landing page. This is big. I haven't done this justice. This is very big. We're required to create in fact, I should have started it this way. So if we're going to be rebuilding the website, these are the pages that generally always go up. You have to have brand pages. Your about, your team, your projects. In other words, trust pages. Pages about your brand. These are not pages that generally will rank unless it's your homepage. You have to have info pages, your contact us, your privacy, your resources, your guides, FAQs, that kind of stuff. These are the big ones. The SEO, in other words, the service pages, the money pages, we call them all sorts of different things, but they all mean the same thing. These are the pages that we're trying to show up in Google. These are the pages that once they rank, they're the pages that get the inquiries. So yes, your homepage obviously will get the most traffic, but if your homepage is about maintenance and construction, these pages is your waterproofing, dual occupancy building, tiling. So they're your service pages. So when somebody types into Google, Tyler Melbourne, it's these service pages that we're trying to show up, because it's not realistic for your homepage to just rank for everything. It's just not going to work that way. That's why when you type in a certain keyword, you can see that it takes you to the sub page of that website. This is huge. Supporting content. Loading text to please the Google gods. Google is very, very smart. Google can also be very dumb. Google is an algorithm. Google is a robot. A robot scans your website, understands text, understands images. If we write 50 blogs, 3,000 words each, super high quality content, not just on random topics, but on precise topics that support your niche. Building design tips, teeth whitening tips. Why to get teeth whitening? Is teeth whitening dangerous? All these questions are never ending, and we don't make them up. Google tells us what they want to see. We've got so much software in play that puts this all together, artificial intelligence. Then we have teams of researchers, content creators, writers, editors, SEO injectors, uploaders. It's incredible what we've created. A big one then is geo pages, a page that just targets that suburb or that city. For our national clients, we've got a page that targets New South Wales, and then a page within that targets the cities individually. So Sydney or Newcastle, right? So that's now a pretty big website. I mean, I built 100 geo pages for cities, and I've just recently built 400 suburb pages. It's a lot of work. 400 suburb pages. Why? Because there's 400 suburbs in Melbourne, roughly. Right, so those pages need to be unique. How are you going to make 400 unique pages? So that's what goes into a website build. Now, if you don't have this, or well, obviously we build it for you, but if your website already has elements of this, we do what's called a website takeover. Sometimes this costs. Look, I don't want to say it costs as much as a website, but sometimes it's even more work to take over somebody else's job, somebody else's construction, and start working on it. And we don't do this very often, okay? But unless the tools are set up, we actually don't take the campaign on, because there's no point. If we can't amend things the way Google needs them, there's no point. Honestly, I decline a lot of work. Then comes the monthly campaign. This is a monthly spend that goes into monthly tasks where we allocate $100 that time into look, this is going very, very light. I know it's complex, but it's actually much more hectic than this. If I show you, here's another basic explanation of what goes into the monthly tasks. The way I explain things can be explained in many ways, but for now, we begin doing monthly things. So on a monthly level, your taller building grows. And what do? We do monthly on-page SEO. So this is the creation of main pages and sculpting them. So when we create this service page, let's say it's Roofer Melbourne, right? We've created it. Then we wait for Google to visit and judge us. Google will come along, a little guy with a clipboard, and he'll judge the website. I'm joking. It's not a guy. It's a robot. A robot will crawl the website, judge us, place us on page 5 of Google. Great. Now we know where we stand. So now we start jumping on and sculpting things, adding more marble here, adding this there, adding text, adding images, adding videos, adding interlinking, adding optimizing things. So main page sculpting. Supporting content creation is the creation of all the blogs and supporting content to prove ourselves trustworthy on this space. This is huge. You can create an agency just on this, because I think is this the sheet where I explain it? It is. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to explain this very quickly. Let's say home. Let's say audio systems. What was this? Wireless headphones. Okay, let's pretend. Oh shit. Let's pretend we're building a website about audio systems. I'll be very, very quick on this. And we've said, hey Google, here's my website, audio systems. I'm just going to leave this because I can't spell when people are watching me. This is just perfectly, and I'll just do exclamation mark like this. We've registered a website about audio systems. We've built headphones, home speakers, VR headsets. We're saying, hey Google, come check out our website. Google's like, I don't trust you. Why should they? There's millions of websites out there on these topics. So what we do is we go and create a cluster of blogs on these topics. So cluster on blogs just about headphones, best wireless headsets, wireless blah, 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 wireless headphones for the gym. So a lot of effort goes into this. This is hard. Research and injecting this word a certain amount of times. And then we create this cluster for home speakers. We create this cluster for VR headsets. All of a sudden, our asset begins to, we're talking 4, 5, 6 months later, when Google sees this, they're like, ooh, these guys are delivering a great experience to the community. Look how much good quality content's gone up. Now we're going to start considering them. So that little blob was just this. So much goes into that. Then you have geo-page sculpting, not geo-page creation. Sculpting these. In other words, that page that was created to rank for Burwood, St Kilda, Elwood, it's on page 10. Means Google doesn't like it for some reason. Well, they like it, but they just like other pages more. So we need to do something to that page. If you're managing 400 pages on one website, that is a job within itself. This is why I have no problem sharing all of my strategies with anyone. Whether you're a startup marketer, you're a startup entrepreneur, you're a business, you've just been hired to do the SEO for a business. It's like I really genuinely want to help anybody that puts their hand up. I'm happy to share whatever strategy. Kind of like my dad, the heart surgeon, sharing how to do heart surgery, right? This stuff is just so complex. If I've pushed you in the right direction to begin taking the step, I've won. I'm genuinely, if I win, if you win, I win. Bit of a tangent. Off-page SEO. So backlinks and mentions from other websites. If you know me, I have lots of websites myself. I have lots of my own directories. If we zoom in, if you book me in for a Zoom call, I'll show you some funny stuff where out of the top 10 results, 8 belong to me. When I say belong, They're my properties that I'm pushing traffic to whoever needs. We'll explain this if we catch up. Local SEO. Google My Business Optimization, doing all the things I was saying above, geo signals, geo relevancy, local backlinks. This is a job within itself. It's acquiring backlinks and mentions from other websites that are in your suburbs. That is hard. That is hard because people don't understand this. I reach out to them. They're like, I don't want to discriminate or accents or anything like that, but it's just hard. Okay. This is all what we're doing on a monthly basis, by the way. Speed optimization, website has to be fast, and UX and crawlability. Crawlability is when you lay down that red carpet for the Google gods. So they can speed through your website and you present everything to them on a silver platter. We're not over. It keeps going. The monthly sculpting and the monthly management of your Google ads and Facebook ads. I kept this very basic. It does get way more hectic than this, but every single month we will be sculpting your page. By that I mean change the color of this button to green and see what kind of results we get. We've had results change just from the color of a button. It's incredible. So it's like a never-ending sculpture that Google visits. We're talking about an ad here. Google judges ads in a completely different algorithm to the way it judges the organic listings and the SEO. So Google will judge your ad and it will say, right, you guys have earned the respect. Your ad quality is better. That means you will pay less for the same thing that somebody else pays more for, because Google likes your ad, and we can see that people like your ad because they're hanging around on the page, they're scrolling down, they're genuinely inquiring, and Google reward good experiences on their platform. Keyword management. This is big. We're not geniuses. Every campaign has months of keyword sculpting that it requires. Unless, of course, you're in the campaigns that we've already ran. We know your keywords. We can already basically fast track your campaign because we've got years of data for things like dentists, for accountants, for financial. Basically, all of the things are listed up there. So then we know what keywords to negative. This is big. In other words, telling Google what keyword does not bring a client. For example, if someone types in free tooth whitening, you don't want to pay for that. So obviously the word free needs to be negative. That's a very simple explanation. But there could be combinations where we just can't foresee it, right? We can't predict how people will use the English language to write certain things. So until we see that, our money has gone into this silly keyword, which does not bring new business, we need to jump on it and make it a negative. And that goes into the monthly work on a Google ad. Facebook and Instagram ads. Ad sculpting. We run this ad for a week. It converts. It does this. It doesn't do this. We duplicate it. That way we have a baseline. We do an A/B test. And then we try different video, photo, color, text. Same thing. We run it. Ads is very much like that. It's a test and learn, a perfect and progress. I went way overboard to what I expected. I thought this was going to be simple. I hope this makes sense. On all of our local campaigns, they go through an element on this. It's very, very rare that we just do SEO for somebody. Because what happens is, no matter how much I set expectations, on the 6th or 7th month of clients that pay that figure, you get the same, hey man, when are we going to get results? That's SEO. That's why when we start things off, we always say, hey, let's get some trust going. Let's get some leads coming through the door. I decline a lot of work if it doesn't go through this way. We decline good-looking websites that we just see this is not going to progress through the algorithm. It must be like this. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. Let me know if I need to cover something a bit better. Reach out to me. We can. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you're a business owner. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur, a marketer that's just starting out. I'd love to help you grow. Get in touch, guys. Thank you so much for sticking through such a long video. All the best. All right.
Nah, I done grew up around some people living their life in bottles. Granddaddy had the golden flask, back door every day in Chicago. Some people like those.